Welcome back to another episode of the Past and Present Podcast. I'm your host, Alan the Great. Today we got another special, very special guest joining us for today's episode. My father-in-law, Mr. Colbert Robinson. How you doing, Pop?
How you doing there, son?
How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Blessed, man. Before we get started, I want to do something special like we do from time to time. Can you start us off with a prayer?
Let me start us off.
Yes, sir. Can you start us off with a prayer?
Glory to God. Father God, we just thank you again for another opportunity, Father, just to come before you. Give you thanks and glory, Father, for what you have done, is doing, and going to do, Lord. Oh, Father, we ask for your blessing upon this here video that we are recording right now, Father, that it may be a blessing to those that hear it, Father. Also, let it be a blessing to us, Father, even as we step forward, Father, and be a witness for you. Father, we give you the glory and the honor for all these blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, let's get right to it. So let's start off with your childhood. How was your childhood relationship with your mother and your father? What was that like?
That was kind of rough. Well, me and my father's relationship, we always to the very end has been great. We had our ups and downs, runs in, but my dad always loved me and I always loved him. He always showed me love and respect. He never beated me. One time he had to correct me one time and it was something that I didn't do, and I was set up by my other brothers, But anyway, and he thought it was me and he kind of spanked me, but not spanked me, but just corrected me. But that's the only one time in my life, and that we had any kind of discipline. But my mother, on the other hand, was the one that I really was raised with, and I had a bad. I think my mom. She was doing the best that she could as far as the way she raised me, but then in the way she was raised, maybe so. And she kind of abused me more so, I think. She chastised me more than she did with my other brothers and my other sisters. She was on me more harder. I think that she thought maybe I needed it more because I was acted more slower than my other brothers and sisters. They catch on fast. And she said, yo, she tells us to do one thing, and I was like so naive, and I go back and do it again. And like it wasn't like I was just being hard-headed, but it was just like I was absent-minded that fast, and so that would make her mad or make her think that I was being hard-headed, and so she would make me stand in the corner more, or not give me certain privileges, and everybody else be having fun and have the privileges. So I was being chastised with her more, even when she would beat me. And because I didn't cry like my other brothers and sisters, like my other brothers, they would scream. And me, I'm sorry, Mom, I won't do it no more. And to her, it made her think that it wasn't hurting me. But at the same time, it was hurting me. I just didn't cry like they would cry. They would put on more than they were, like they was hurting real screaming bad, And so she would stop beating them, but me, she was still beating me, even harder. I remember my mom used to have to wrestle me down to beat me. She even beat me with a high heel, and the high heel got stuck in my head. So we went some stuff, but I still love my mom. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved her. I just wanted her to love me like she loved them. And so we had that whole relationship all throughout my childhood is what I saw with me and my mom,
How did that relationship with your mom affect you with your brothers and sisters? How did that play a role with your brothers and sisters? Because you said that your mom treated you differently than them, beat you more.
They felt sorry for me. They really did. They felt sorry for me. They seen me. They knew that I was hurting, that I wasn't putting on. They seen the real me. They always sympathized with me and try to comfort me and pet me up, I thought she didn't love me. Then sometimes when they mad at me, then they use it against me. You ugly, you the blackest one in the family, and you was the stepchild. You ain't our real brothers and sisters. We found you on the doorstep, and then that would really beat me down even more. I kind of believe it because the way I was being treated. So yeah, but then all of my brothers and sisters, I had a special relationship with all of them. I'm the favorite one with my brother, from the youngest one. I'm favorite with my older brother. I'm the favorite with my sister. I'm the, we really there. Even my sister passed away. Both of my sisters are gone now. Two of them are really gone. And one of them was like my mom. She really stepped in and try to do the stuff like my mom, try to love me, tell me how to dress, build my spirit up and encourage me, stuff like that. My little baby brother, my brother that's underneath of me and him really was close. He had an IQ of a genius, and I would follow him to do wrong, to do mischief, And they would say, that would make my mom even more mad because I'm 2 years older than him and I'm following him, let's say my 6-year-old brother, and I'm 8 years old and I'm following behind him. When he got 10, I'm 12, I'm still following behind him because he was really highly intelligent and he was smart. And we used to do a lot of mischief, stealing or robbing or breaking in stuff, doing stuff like that. And I just followed along with him. My mom said, y'all stay right there. And so when I stay, if I behave, he'll go off anyway. She said, I don't want y'all to leave off this there, or what's going to happen. I'm scared to death. But he will leave, and when he comes back with all kind of goodies that he done stole or what have you. And so he would share it with me and tell me the next time that he go, if I don't go, I won't be able to get none. So he surprised me with stuff like that, Right. And so I was kind of army in that sense. I would follow my little brother when I knew better, and so that made my mom even more hard on me, just more harder. But my brothers and sisters, yeah.
No, go ahead. You said your brothers and sisters, go ahead.
They really love me. I mean, all of them. We had a close bond. All of us did, But I was like the favorite one with each one of them. Each one of them, I was their favorite brother. I'm the favorite, my sisters, I was their favorite brother. I was real close with each and every one of them. Even after we got older, after we grew out of that, a lot of the childhood bad stuff, But when I got much older, I was still close with every one of them the same kind of way.
Absolutely. That's dope that, you was able to establish that type of relationship, even though, at times when they're like using colorism, because at the time we didn't know, we was kids. We talked about colorism and teased each other because, somebody was too light or somebody was too dark. We didn't understand truly how deep that ran and how it truly affect people and how it would make a bigger impact on our lives as we get older. We didn't realize that when we was young. And I'm going back to when you said you got that beating and you would get whooped after, if you don't cry right, then you get beaten again. I mean, we can laugh about it now, but I remember those beatings. My grandma used to give me those beatings. If you don't cry, you get another one, and you better make sure that you show that it hurts. But it's one of those things we can laugh about now. But at the time,
I cried, but I thought I was showing it. I was crying, but not the way they cry.
Right. You ain't cry right. You ain't cry how they wanted you to.
Yeah, and another thing, when you talk about the complexion, the dark skin, and the color thing. See, my mother and my grandmother's mother, I believe, was white, and so my grandmother looked kind of white, and so did my mother. And one of my sisters looked white, and then one of my older brother, he looked kind of white. They was real highly light skinned. I got some other ones that was little. They wasn't as dark as me, but I was as dark as that all of them. I think I took life after my father, So I had all my father's complexion and so forth, So when they called me black, I just shrink down in the chair, You black, you ugly thing, look at you. And my mother used to say it. And so she said it, then when they said it, they used it as a weapon against me if I didn't do what they wanted me to do, And so when they call each other, all they gotta do is call me black and boom. That would set it off, that would make me shrink down and like I was nothing. The more they said it, I just disappeared into a shadow, And I remember not until I went into boys' school. I went, I got in so much trouble, I went to boys' school, and that's when things changed. Because out there, they made you fight, You had to fight. If you didn't want to fight, you just got beat down. And so there, I started getting more attitude. And I was able to express my attitude out. I would let all that anger, all that hurt that I had from my mom and all them, when I released it on them, it was like a whirlwind. And so when that was my way of expressing myself, made people not hurt me. You call me black, you don't even know that you hurted me. And I will come back and retaliate it. You don't even know. I don't even let you know, but I just retaliate so fast. And then you say, what that was for? And it was because you just called me black. You said, oh, you black nigga. They might have been just joking, just saying, yo, you a black nigga. Look at you, man. You know what I mean? They don't know. I heard my mom saying you black and I trans, and I wasn't trying to get down like that no more. So I always expressed myself with that anger from all of that. I used that just about all my life. It was like another spirit that I had on me. Whenever I got mad, I would go into this other realm, this other zone, you know what I mean? And I would release it. I don't care who it was, you know what I mean? All my friends and people that knew me back then, they could tell you the same thing. Not until I got delivered. You know what I mean? But prior to all of that, you know what I mean? I was that hurt from being called black and so forth would always beat me down like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to get to the part where you delivered and where you are now. But before we get there, let's kind of like talk about how that type of feel. First, let's go back to the boys' school and how you said you had to fight. I understand that completely. Growing up in the projects, Riverside projects, I always tell people, my wife, my kids, from the day I moved there to the day I left, you had to fight. It wasn't a question if you wanted to fight. It ain't a question if you felt like it. You can't go outside unless you fight, because every day it was about proving yourself, proving you wasn't weak. It was like, you know, gladiator school when you went lived in the projects. It wasn't a place where you could show even this slightest inkling of weakness. But going back to, you know, how you felt and your complexion and how your mom constantly beat you down about your complexion. Before we talk about that, I just want to ask you, what was the relationship like between your mother and father?
Okay, I'm not sure that, I mean, my dad still came around. He come a good, it was like three of us had the same father. And so my dad would come and we'd be so happy, excited. And he'll take all three of us, you know what I mean? He always come and get my mother money. You know what I mean? He'll come and grab us, take us to his house. I would stay with my father's house in the summertime. We'll go over there for the summer. And sometimes if my mother got fed up with us, with me, put it like that mostly, me, when she got fed up with me, you go to your father. So I stayed with my father, and then I stayed with my mother, both of them. But my mom and my dad, I think they still liked each other, but it just couldn't work because of the situation. I think my dad, because of my mother-in-law, he was in love with her, and my mom, and he knew my mom's other side. So even though my mom was beautiful and all that, but he preferred not that because he knew my mom could have a temper as well, you know what I mean, and act out. So they just remained friends and seen each other here and there, you know what I mean, like that. Yeah.
So how was your relationship? So how did your relationship with your mom affect future relationships that you had with women? How did that affect you later on in life when you started getting relationships?
I mean, I would say how my mom maybe affected my relationship. I never looked at it from that point of view. You know what I mean? I can look at it from my father's point of view. I can see how he used to respect or how he treated his wife and or relationships. And I kind of acted like him. He had a temper as well, and he would abuse them. He would put his hands on them. You know what I mean? And I ended up picking the same thing up. I did the same thing. I believe the same thing. My mother affected me as far as with my children. I said I would never treat my children the way she did me, but at the same time, when I look back, I did. I try to use the same correction, the same fear, the same intimidation. You heard what I said, and put my eyes on, and they were scared. I didn't know until I got much older after my children got older that I really affected them like that. I thought I was a good dad. I thought they loved me. I was loving them and all, but I didn't know that they were scared of me, just like I was afraid of my mom. You know what I mean? So that affected me, and I never knew it, you know what I mean, until much older, not long ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago, from talking to my daughter, talking to your wife, you know what I mean? And she said, and she was expressing stuff about me. Who, when you dad comes? She said, what? I said, y'all's afraid of me like that? She said, hell yeah. Oh, yes.
She told me stories. She told me stories. She used to tell me stories. And I was like, no, your dad cool. Your dad cool. He's like the nicest person in the world. She's like, you don't know my dad. Like, I'm like, nah, he's good. Your dad seemed like the coolest person in the world. And she's like, trust me. My dad, you know, he got that mean streak to him. And I think one day I was like looking at you and I was like, yeah, I can see it. Like, you didn't do anything. Like, you didn't do anything, get mad. I just looked at you. I was like, Yeah, I can look at your eyes like, yeah, I can see it. He
Yeah,
got
I had.
that, he got
You
that
know
other
what I
gear.
found out? Well, like you said, you want to talk about that later. How I identify that
Mm,
other side of me. We'll
okay,
talk about that when I get to my deliverance. But
I see.
I identify it now, or at least the
Mm,
way I understand it, I see it. And every now and then, if you can push the right buttons, that other side can come out if you allow it. Because
right.
I always lived that kind of way. But that's
Mm,
something that I keep under subjection now. I don't yield to that other side that person that will get that angry and go to that extent. I've been married 4 times, and I look back, I put my hands on all of them, except for where I'm the one I'm with now.
why did you put your hands on your wife? Like, okay, so
When I
the
got
first time.
mad, when I got mad and tried to express myself to them, I call myself expressing my love. I love you, and the whole time I'm killing you, I'm choking you, talking about I love
Mm,
you, right? It sounds stupid, but that was my way of letting you know that I was serious about what I had said, or I meant, or I'm trying to convince you that I was right or something. And so I'll go to that extent, you know what I mean? And I was looking back as I was like, it was about a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I looked at a program and I saw this guy beating up his wife, you know what I mean, or this girl, and I felt bad for her. Like, why would he do such thing? But I said, I was that guy though.
mm,
I did all of that. You know what I mean? I would put my hands on my girl, you know what I mean, or my wife or what have you. Even as a kid coming up, or my girlfriend before they became my wife, before I got married, that's what I did. You know what I mean? So,
mm.
you know what I mean? Like I said, I was really, so I guess that relationship, like you said, what that effect my mom had on me, that anger, that temper, when I let that anger out, maybe all that hurt that I was feeling that my mom did, I was releasing it on the women that I was with. All the women that I got with, when I released my temper, I was releasing that anger out and hurt that I got from my mom. You know what I mean?
When your mom was beating on you and beating you down, not just physically but mentally, did you ever identify with that as love? And the reason I asked you that question is because as I hear you saying when you was beating on the women in your life and you said you was choking her, you were saying to yourself, yo, this is my way of trying to convince you that I love you. Was
Okay,
this more
your
of
voice went
you?
down.
Was this more of your mom, you feeling like, yo, my mom was trying to show me love when she was beating me down? Did you feel that way? Did you think mentally, did you think that way?
Wait a minute, your voice went down. There we go. Say something
Okay,
again.
can you hear me now?
You're still kind of low. I don't know what happened. Maybe because I just got some texts came through on my phone, and maybe
Yeah,
that cut my
possibly.
volume down. But I just cut it back up, and it's still kind of low.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Low.
Okay. Yeah, well, I can hear you pretty good.
You can hear
I
me
trust.
pretty good. So
Yeah, I
I
hear
would
you
have to
good.
come lean in to hear you.
Okay,
So so
I try to speak a little bit. Okay, so do you identify like with your mom? You told me about you was choking one of your ex-wives, and you were saying I was trying to convince her that I love her when you was choking her. Do you feel like that when your mom was sitting here telling you, beating you down mentally and physically, that you felt in some way that she was trying to show you some sense of love through those beatings and through
Yeah,
that?
I really think my mom. I really think my mom meant well. I believe that. Matter of fact, I remember my sisters and brothers as we got older. As a couple of my sisters would ask my mom, and she said, "I did that." She didn't can believe that she did all that to it. He said, "Yeah, mom, you used to really take it out on him." And I heard her. She really was surprised that she really did it that to that extent with me. I remember um, my grandmother would step in. My grandmother used to live with us, you know what I mean? Just about all our life, you know what I mean? And my grandmother had to step in and take me. So if you don't want to raise him, let me raise the boy. And we lived in the same house, and my grandmother would raise me. I
Mm,
was sitting to eat with my grandmother and my auntie, you know what I mean, like she was my mother, and my auntie was like she was my sister, you know what I mean. And we would sit at the table. My grandmother would take care of me, and then eventually my mother would get jealous because my auntie would be jealous of me, with way my grandmother was treating me, and so my mother would say, "Give my child back, then I'll take him. I'm not gonna let him be abused by her and so forth, so on." So I know my mother meant well. I know she really did love me, but that was her way of expressing love. Like I found out as I got older, you know what I mean, because of our ignorance. You know what I mean? we think we doing right, but we really actually doing wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you know how I said here, when white folks who teach their children that they would tell them, they would discipline them, and they would tell them, Johnny, go stand in the corner and time out and all that. And we were like, yeah, right, shit, time out. I got some time out for them. But actually, that was a correct way to do it, and then talk to them later and give them some understand why they being timed out, why they was treated like that. But we thought that was way out of hand. Our mother didn't do that with us. Our mom would say, I got something for you, and would pull a belt out and beat us. And so we followed the same path. And so I believe my mother was doing the same thing. But she meant well. She thought that was the only way to correct us. You know what I mean? The other stuff, she tried the other stuff. Don't do that. Try to talk to you. And I should have told you twice or maybe 3 times and you still did it, then she would tear you up. You know what I mean? And then if you try to grab the belt or the switch or something like that, then the fight was on. My mom will get down with you and wrestle you down. And whatever came in her hand, she will use it, you know what I mean, to let you know that she's not going to let you dominate her because she's the mom, you know what I mean? And so a lot of mine came from that, you know what I mean?
You know, one of the issues in the Black community that we deal with.
You really low, son.
Okay, I'm trying to get a little closer so you can hear me. How's it now? Do you hear me now?
Hold on 1 second. Let me give you, let me do another thing.
Okay.
So the phone won't go out. Let me plug it in. Because I got a feeling that might. Okay, I'm going to cut it up much as I can. Okay. I got mine loud so I can go.
Okay. Now I hear you real good on my side. I don't know what's going on. What's the microphone? Okay, how's it now?
Yeah,
It's better?
Because we was doing good for a minute.
Yeah, I know. So what I was gonna say is, like, a lot of times in the Black community, and one of the stigmas that go on is there's a stigma with mental health, and a lot of times what we're doing is we're teaching our kids, or we're passing down past trauma. And a lot of times what I believe your mom experienced, and what a lot of times we all experience, is we don't know how to give love because we never received love. So our identity and the way we view love is incorrect. You know what I mean? So your mom may not have been mistreated by her mom and not really truly shown how love was supposed to be. Then when it came around to you, that hatred that she carried over from her mom was then carried into your life. And then when you got into future relationships, that hatred still carried on. And this is what we do. We just pass trauma around as if
from generation to generation.
Yes, from generation to generation, like it's gifts or some kind of great food that we love eating. Like it's a recipe to creating a new turkey, this amazing turkey. When reality is, this generational curse that we're passing around to each one is causing a dangerous effect on our lives, and not only our children's life, and continuing on. And I feel like that kind of led to the issues that you have. And like you said, you know, you felt your mom meant well and that she loved you, but she didn't know how to show you that love. So
How to show me that. I agree with you 100%. I agree. You know what I mean? If you hear my other brothers and sisters, they would say she loved us because, you know what I mean? Because they seen her struggles, you know what I mean? So she kept a roof over her head. She kept food on her. She kept the best clothes on us, you know what I mean? And she tried to tell us right from wrong, you know what I mean? And when we did wrong, she would discipline and correct us, you know what I mean? In that sense, you know what I mean? But when she got angry, you know what I mean? That was a different story. It was the same like me. I had an anger. When I got angry, then that temper came out and dominated my actions and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about something real quick because I want to get to it before we get to deliverance. You did have abusive relationships with some of the women you dealt with. One of the abusive relationships you talked to me about previously was with, I don't know if it was your ex-wife, but your oldest daughter's mother, where you said she used to tease you about this color of your skin, and it forced you to react in a negative way. You used some of what you learned at that boys' school to combat your feelings. Can you explain that situation, how you felt when your oldest daughter's mother, what she used to say to you, and what led behind that?
Oh my goodness. I think she was like kind of the first one a female that I really actually expressed myself angry or violently towards, because she was really aggressive and dominating, you know what I mean? And kind of, she would just show off. She would disrespect people anyway, you know what I mean? If she got felt like it. And so whenever I came around over to her and her girlfriends and other people was there, she would kind of downgrade me. Say, why don't you go somewhere, you black thing, you ugly thing? And like I was like, you don't want me over here, then I'll go ahead and leave. I'm being nice, trying to be the polite guy and all that. So I took it, 5 or 6, 7 different occasions. And then one time I said, you know what? And all her sisters, and all her friends and them, they were begging. So why are you treating him like this here? This guy is a real good guy. He really does everything for you. He keeps money, you know what I mean? And he's a nice looking guy. Why are you treating him like that? And she said, I don't care. He can leave. Just leave. You know what I mean? And so I used to hear them begging, pleading in my brigade. I remember her mother even said, girl, her mother said, she said, hold on, Colbert. You give me, hold on 1 second. And because I was leaving because she had hurted me, told me get out, you know what I mean? You ugly thing, whatever. And then I heard her mother call her in another room, say, and slapped her. Bam! You go back in there and apologize to him right now. This is the best boyfriend you ever had, and you treat him like he's nothing. Go in there. So she came back and cried to me. I'm sorry, because her mom had smacked her. But while she was apologizing to me, I said in my heart, I said, I'm going to show her. That was the last time. I'm going to show her. I'm going to get her away from the house there, and I'm going to ask her again why she do that, and I'm going to let her see that other side that I used to do with the guys out there when I got mad. You know what I mean? And so when I caught her around the corner, a day later, I said, come on, let's take a walk. We walked away from the house, got down, and then finally, after we got so far, I said, I want to ask you a question. Why you always treat me the way you treat me whenever your friends come around? When we by ourselves, you don't talk to me like that. But when soon as people come around, you start calling me ugly or get away and this and that. She said, I ain't trying to hear that, boy. Just shut up. You get out. That's when I snapped. Pop, pop, boom, boom, bop, boom. I said, what you say now? And from that day on, that was my way. I said, oh, I got her attention. She don't talk like that no more. So, well, say the next time her friends came around and she was great, go there. I said, what'd you say? She said, I'm sorry. And then their friend said, something changed for her to say she's sorry because she never apologized to nobody. But then from that point on, I found that was a way of making her respect me because of how I released it. And so from that time on, I guess from being with her to the next woman, I did the same way and then on and on. Yeah.
You felt like when you physically, can you hear me better now?
Huh?
Do you hear me better now?
Nope.
Oh, man, I don't know what's going on with the audio. I'm sorry about this. I just took the earphones off. I thought that would help. I took my AirPods out to see if that helped, but I'll try to get a little closer to the mic. So did you feel that, so you felt that control over them by hitting them, that gave you a level of control over them and kept them in line in a way?
Sad, but it's true. That is so sad, but it is true. You know what I mean? I can look back. I see, like I said, I really realized, I didn't realize it then, but I was messed up. I was really messed up in my mentality, everything. You know what I mean? I had issues, I had problems, and I didn't know how to deal with them other than the way I was expressing them. You know what I mean? I remember even go back further with my mom, I used to ask questions. Why this happened or where this come from? And she used to try to answer, but she couldn't get answer and get frustrated with me and make me go stand in the corner. Where we get the sun from? And then why? And why I was that kind of guy, always asking questions, wanted to know, and it would make her mad because she didn't have the answer for me. You know what I mean? So yeah. So but anyway, I was really messed up there for a long time. You know what I mean? For a long time.
But the thing is about that, and the interesting thing is not to sit here and keep dwelling on your mom or make her seem like she's the worst person in the world, because I know you love your mother, but it's important to point out how our parent relationships, and not just yours, but parental relationships are so important to keep a healthy relationship with your children, whether it's your son or daughter, but also important to understand that some of the things that you're doing wrong, the negativity that carried over from your life can spill into your children and cause them to have a toxic or unhealthy relationship. So it's very important that we are highlighting and speaking on this, because a lot of the issues that went on with your parents led to you having a negative relationship with women. And also what you dealt with people condemning you because of your skin color and the darkness of your skin, led those wounds that were so deep that didn't heal right away So you reacted and communicated, and the only way you knew how was physically. Now I have to ask you this question as a person who was the abuser in a relationship. Why didn't you just walk away or leave the relationship when you felt that she was mentally attacking you because of your skin color? Why didn't you just walk away from the relationship instead of getting into a physical fight with her?
With my other females in my life?
Yes.
Well, that was the only one that ever really attacked at me, my complexion, or assaulted me. She was the only one that ever came out like that. And eventually our relationship did end. But the next great relationship so happened to be was your mother-in-law,
right.
You know what I mean, your daughter mom, and she loved me to death. She loved me. If I ever know what love was, it was her that showed me love. When I embraced the love, it was when we talk about the philo love, the kind of love, not the agape love. God's love is the greater love, but the love between a man and a woman. She showed me love. She loved me. She loved everything about me, the ground I walked on, my complexion. She loved it, my blackness. She loved it, my eyebrows, my eye. And she would show me that. She would tell me that. I'd be sleeping. She's still sitting there amazed with me. And so that's why I embraced her, because she really loved me and showed me love. She did everything she could as a young little girl trying to show me love. You know what I mean? And so now with her, I didn't want to lose her. So that's why I would put my hand on her. If I thought it was a threat of losing her, or that she was seeing someone else or messing with someone, I would try to control her with that same fear because I loved her. That's why I said, you know what I mean, I did it because I'm trying to show you that I love her. She was the one that, out of all my relationships, you know what I mean, she really showed me love. And then down the road, my third wife, she loved me too, you know what I mean? The best way she knew how to love me. But by the time she got an abused package already when I came in, you know what I mean? I was already, you know, kind of messed up and been through some relationship, you know what I mean? But my first wife, Juanita, you know, your mother-in-law, she's the one that showed me love. And I didn't treat her, she never talks about me black or none of that kind of stuff. She loved everything about me. And by the time I got with her, my complexion and the way I felt about myself, it was totally different. I started seeing that I was real handsome, and a lot of women wanted me. Then I see myself in a whole different light. Time me and Juanita got together as I got older. When she was younger, as a kid, I knew her since she was 13, and I was about 15, and so she would love me. But when I got 19, 20, when I got into my God thing, me knowing God and that, I was a whole different individual. I was different. I knew that I was a okay guy, a real nice looking guy, and there was no question about it. And my complexion, I was glad that I was dark skinned, you know what I mean, and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because there was a time where dark skinned men was in. You know, Wesley Snipes was in, and he had all dark skinned men, you know, feeling good about themselves. You know what I mean? We came foul at one point. Yeah, you know how it went down. But
yes, sir. Yeah. but black is in and light is out.
The blacker the berry, for your juice. Yeah, you know how it go. You old school.
Yeah. Man. But like you said, I mean, it's crazy enough when you're saying I'm only reason I'm really doing this because I know some people still hurting and still messed up. And been through some of the stuff that I've been through, they can kind of identify. That's why I'm being so transparent about what I've been through. I'm not trying to hold back no punches because I want them to see, because they like you said, people still got a distorted image about love and relationship and how to express it. They still think it's the way my mom did me, they saw their mom and dad, and then and their grandmother, and not knowing that their grandmom and their great grandma, they had it wrong too.
Right.
They had it wrong. And like you said, a lot of us had not been shown how to love. And the only way I know real love now, other than, like I said, when I talk about Juanita, my first wife, the love that she showed me, that's another love. But it's the God's love now that I know now. It's the right love. That you gotta be able to love somebody unconditionally. You can't love them just when they do right, when they do the right thing, then I love you. When they do wrong, then you hate them. That's not no love. That's not real love. But that's what we know. That's what most people live by. He don't do me right. That nigga don't love me. How if he love me? I should have brought him home. Lois should have brought him home. No, not also. You still got to love. If you love a person, you love them unconditionally, regardless whether they do right. I choose to love you. I'm gonna love you anyway because you deserve to be loved. Even if you didn't deserve to be loved, I'm gonna love you because that's what I do now. So that's a different thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And the thing is, we have to make clear to people here right now today that you have to understand, identify, and understand what true love is. Love for yourself, love for other people. Love is not allowing someone to beat you down mentally, physically, whether it's our parents, your partner, your aunt, your uncle, or your grandmother. It's not love. And just because someone tries to tell you it's love when they beat you down, it's not that. And passing that, continue on passing that torch on is not going to make anyone else get love more. What you're going to do is pass on your pain, your hurt, your scars, your wounds. So it's important that we're talking about this right now because, like you said, there's somebody out here right now dealing with this pain. There's somebody right now who's identifying with abusing a woman or even a man who feels like that's their way of showing love. It's not. Somewhere and something inside you is broken, and we have to find a way to fix it. You have to heal yourself. You have to heal yourself from your past wounds in order to truly love someone. You have to get to a place where you love everything about yourself. I'm talking about the ugliest parts of yourself. You have to learn to love and appreciate those things just as much as you love the most beautiful parts of yourself. So that way you can spread and share that love further to others. We also have to put an end to family trauma, people. No more smacking on your kids, talking down on your kids. We have to speak life into your kids. But now,
come on, speak it, my brother. Speak it, son, boy. You telling the word. That's the truth, man. That is the right stuff right there. You know what I mean? And a lot of us don't know that. They might be just not hearing it now, even coming from you as you're speaking it, right? It's helping them understand or see a little bit clearer. Because sometimes, like you said, people endure, and because of they think that's love. I'm showing you that I ain't leaving him because I love him. Right. And he killing you. No, you better get away from him if he killing you.
Absolutely.
That's loving him because he go.
Yeah, out of that situation, put somebody end up dead. Because listen, abusive relationship only ends one way, with somebody leaving in a body bag. So before you end like that, walk away. I know it's hard, but walk away from that situation. Well, you think that this person loves you, you love them. Walk away because it only ends in a body bag. But before, I want to get to the part where you have reached deliverance. Like you said, you have reached deliverance. You have found the love and the passion of God. You have the love of God inside you now. You found the love of yourself. So I want you to tell me, how did you find God? How did you find the deliverance from that brokenness that you had endured as a child? How did you become the man you are today?
Okay. Well, all right. So that goes back way long time back in 1980. Go back that far. Or even in the 70s, early 70s, like 74, 75, 76. So when I finally went to prison, I went to prison for something I ain't had nothing to do with, just set up, go to jail. So I'm in jail. I said, well, I was going to use that time to answer all those questions I used to ask my mom, and I wanted to know. I said, I'm going to try to find out where we get air, who made the sun, where did the light come from, where did this come from, all those things. So I started searching those things out while I was in there. And so while I was in there, it kind of led me through a lot of religion. It didn't lead me to Christianity. It led me away from Christianity because Christianity was taught like that was a white man's religion. You know what I mean? That stuff keep you in slavery. So I didn't pick up the Bible. I ran into Islam. I went into Rosa Cross. I went into Buddhism. I studied all these other things, astrology. I studied all these other things trying to find answers. And so finally, at the conclusion, before I left the prison, I realized I'm not following none of them is showing me God. Where's this God that created? Why he's not speaking to me? Why would he speak to them and not speak to me? And so I'm not going to follow nobody, because I'm not seeing God. I did all the things, the precepts that they say when you go through the Islamic teaching, I prayed in the Arabic tongue. I spoke in Arabic. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I did all those things. I did a salah and I try to walk upright and with the principles and love, peace, justice, and all those great things. But I never heard Allah or God speaking to me. So I concluded that otherwise I'm just following somebody else that says that God spoke to them. So that case, I said, that be the case, I create my own religion. So I did. I created 2 different religions that I wrote down the precepts and the principles that governs it and so forth. One called kindism. And I said, I ain't too ethnic. When I finally looked back over it, it was about kindness, taking advantage of getting over, scheming and stuff like that, and plans. And so I discarded that one. Then I end up with one called for realism, being for real, doing all that you believe is for real and honest and true. Walk in those things. Let that stuff govern you and guide you. And so I left out on that kind of note. And so while I was out, once I got out, eventually did some crime with one of my brothers, you know what I mean, trying to help him from not go to jail. And so I gets away, he's locked up with 35 years. And I'm on a run up, matter of fact, in the state where I'm at now. I had ran to Minnesota back then. And so while I was up here, I was kind of regretting everything that I went through, how my brother got back in jail 35 years. And I started trying to use some of those principles. As a man thinketh, so is he. I'm going to change myself. As a man thinketh, so is he. And the man's thought and his character are one. So I started thinking on positive stuff and who I wanted to be. How do I see myself? I'm going to change who I am. I don't like who I was. All the stuff that I have done, the character that I have presented from my action. So I started changing it. And to the point where I could not find no more wrong that I was doing. I couldn't find nothing wrong I was doing right. I didn't drink, I didn't get high, I didn't lie. If I saw myself great lie to you, I said, oh, wait a minute, that's not true, brother. And I would apologize and keep it honest and keep it true. And so now I'm living by that. Then I said, I can't be perfect. They said this Jesus guy was perfect. I said, Jesus? I don't know nothing about him. So I ran to a secondhand store and found me a little Bible, a little Testament, and I started reading it. And so once I started reading it, I started seeing all kinds of stuff that was wrong with me when I got into that. And I said, oh, forgive me, then help me, cleanse me. And I repent. I said, help me then so I can be right. You know what I mean? And I accepted him as my Lord and Savior, and things started to change from that day on. I knew God in a mighty way. I started hearing from God now. I saw through dreams and visions. You know what I mean? And sometimes I can hear it just like an audible voice on the inside of me. So now I know that it's a God for real. I couldn't believe all these years I thought there wasn't no God. I used to cuss God out. I said, there ain't no God. God can do this and God can do that. And people said, man, you gonna go to hell, you know, when you talking. I said, but now I know. I don't care. Even if I had died and went to hell, I cannot deny that there's a God, because he already showed me that he's real. And then he said, now, Colbert, you know this way and you know that way. What do you want? I said, I want more of you and more of you. And from that point on, I started turning around. I came back and faced the things that I was running from and the charges that I was running from. God exempted them all from me. I mean, all kind of great, mighty things that God started doing. From that point on, my life started changing to the better. You know what I mean? I know I had help now. Even if I chose to do wrong, if I wanted to live the other lifestyle, if I turn from that and turn to him, I can find his forgiveness and his love, and I will be back in his arms, and he will guide me, give me directions, he will comfort me, he will give me strength, gives me favor. All those things start to manifest it. And I mean, when I came home, he had blessed me to the point at the time when I had your wife and my other sons, you know, when me and Juanita had got back together and we had a family, you know what I mean, God was working mighty in our life at that time. And to the point where we really had it going on as far as prosperity, you know what I mean? We had blessings upon blessing. And like I told you, it seemed like women was coming at me from out of woodwork. I don't care, in the church and out of the church. You know what I mean? Everyone that was looking at me. So it made me start looking at myself even more. Said, do I look that fine? I'm that bad? And I thought about the times when I was shy and I didn't know how to talk, and I was insecure about my looks and about myself. And now I started looking at myself different. I said, wow, okay, hold up, it's really true. And then other people told me. I remember one of my friends told me, he was a minister, and he said, yo, man, if you was in the world, man, you'd be bad. You see how the women everybody's after you? I said, yeah, I'm looking, man, I can't believe it. You know what I mean? And I used to have nappy hair. Now my hair is curly. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It was like, and then he said, you know what? Then all of a sudden he said, 2 days later, he said, man, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I meant to tell you something. He said, remember I told you if you was in the world that you'll be bad? He said, I was wrong. If you were in the world, you would be destroyed.
Mm.
You will be destroyed. You will lose everything.
Mm.
And guess what? I followed after the passion, and that's all the women. I started paying attention, and I went after it, and I lost everything.
Mm.
I came back in that world. I lost everything. I got on drugs. I never been on crack. Got on crack, cocaine, on heroin, on everything. I was doing it. I mean, year after year, not day after day. You know what I mean? Or week after week, or month after month. I'm talking about year after year, year after year, living that life. Even though I knew there was another side, I knew there was a God. But at the same time, now I'm fulfilling all the fantasies that I had by me being on drugs and in that lifestyle. I'm able to fulfill them all. I'm chasing all the lusts and desires that I have. I'm able to fulfill them. And then I kept going so much to the point I kept saying, you know what? No matter how many I fulfill, there's always another one. There's room for more. It's just like the graveyard. It's never filled. You know what I mean? I do this fantasy, then I do another fantasy, then all of a sudden, guess what? Here come another one. And so I felt like year after year has gone by. It's keeping me out here, even though I want to go back home. I want to come back to the one that I know that's right, the one that had a plan and purpose for me. He showed me some great things and mighty things that he had for me, but he don't force it on you. He said, go ahead, let me go. I remember I used to try to, when I came and started getting on the drug lifestyle, when I would come around the people and start trying to blend in, all that came outside of me was the word. And people would be so scared and shocked. They were like, you do not belong here, and I'm not sitting in here with you. I told them, wait, I got it going on. I got all the drugs. I got everything y'all want. Come on, go ahead, get party up, have fun. They said, nope. They would pack their stuff up and leave out of the room because they saw the anointing that was on my life, even though I was trying to go the other way. You know what I mean? And so finally, I started trying to learn. I said, God, leave me alone. Let me be me. Can I get me? I did you. You know what I mean? I really was living for God. I wasn't just put on. I hear from God. God was actually guiding me and directing it in my life to the point that's all I knew. That's when I laid down to go to sleep, I did not go to sleep. I rested in him. Oh, I desire that even now. Just that place to be back in that place there. Whenever I laid down, and all you guys just come in the room and say my name, Colbert. And I said, yeah, what you want? And I just talked to you like I never was asleep. But my body was fully rested and I'm energized. And I just stayed in him. I just stayed in that realm there. And that's how he was guiding me and keeping me. You know what I mean? And so eventually I just started asking him to let me go. Just let me go till I got to the point where I can hide it. I had to learn slang all over again. I had to learn how to blend in. I didn't talk like everybody normally talk. You know what I mean? You could tell my conversation be told on me. You know what I mean? That, hold on, what's going on here? He's lame or something? And I grew up in Riverside too. I grew up in the Riverside before the Riverside. I grew up in Millside. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't know about Millside and East, you know what I mean?
You just schooled me because I never heard of Millside and all that. And
Millside is called Cardboard City. You know what I mean? Riverside, it was nothing but a composer of Cardboard City and South Bridge. So when they built Riverside, there was new projects and everything. Cardboard City with it. If you ever ask somebody else about Millside, boy, you talking about tore down to the floor. You could punch right through the wall and you hear every conversation to the wall. I could go through their wall to the next project, to the next one. It was that thin, the apartments, the houses out there. You know what I mean? And that was a gladiator school. That was the real gladiator school. No, they hold no punches. People, you ask anybody about Riverside or Millside, they call it Cardboard City. So I came up from all of that. I've been there and had done that. You know what I mean? But God, and I had, watch it, but I had to learn slang all over again.
But just to put it in. God delivered you in a way where he not only delivered you, but he gave you all things. He took you away from that previous life and he told you, even though you was trying to go back, his hold was so strong on you. His love for you was so strong that you couldn't go and do what you wanted to do. And when people ran from you, they wasn't just running from you. See, darkness doesn't like the light. See, you may not know it, but you was like a torch in a dark cave. You was highlighting everything. They was like, oh no, gotta get away from this light. He's lighting up the room. Even though you didn't know it, you became the light. So from whatever negativity that has started in your life, God rebirthed you. He reborn you. He resurrected you into becoming this man you are today, this man of God. And he turned you into a bright light that shines on anything that is dark, highlight any room. So you just don't fit in those square holes no more,
You
because
better
now
believe it.
you are a round peg, my brother. You're a
Glory
round
to
peg
God.
now. But I
Yeah,
got yes.
for you to say all that you just said, and and part of the reason why I'm being so transparent, and I decided I agree to do this here live broadcast, because like before, I've been given a ministry with inside me called Arise and Shine. You know what I mean? All around the world, and I've been putting it off because I always wanted to edit everything. I want to make sure the video look good, and I don't want to stumble over my words or say the wrong thing. You know what I mean? But then I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do that video. I'm not gonna edit nothing. I'm gonna be just as transparent as I am with you right now. So
Right.
I'm gonna start recording. I'm gonna start doing some live broadcasts on Facebook, YouTube. I'm gonna have it on all the social media, Instagram. You know what I mean? Twitter. You know, Linkwiz. I'm gonna put it on and I'm gonna be straightforward, because God's saying to me, that's what He's telling me. He's telling us all to arise and shine, because the light is here now. Because the light overcomes the darkness. But if we start walking in that light, it would expel the darkness. And the darkness is all these evil things that manifest because of the darkness. Nobody's standing up. They even got everybody's, even the church now. Watch this. A lot of the church is afraid, and they tuck their tail and covering their head because of the evil that's coming. This pandemic thing. People are afraid to come together. People won't even come to church. They stop or socializing. But if we start walking in the light and start being bold witnesses and let God shine through us, well, darkness got to go. And the works of darkness got to go as well. This sickness, disease, and death. We got to, oh man, it's that time, boy. And I tell you, light,
Greg, get something started up in here today, man.
Yeah. So this is what I do know, brother. Right. I do know, son, man. This pandemic and all this stuff is going on, is not the last forever. It's just for a moment. This too shall pass. And guess what? We are coming together. We are going to start the ride. Your program, this video right now here, people that's going to hear this here, it's an anointing that's inside of me that's going to break some yokes that's in other people's lives, that's going to cause them to hear what God is saying. It is time. There is hope. See, this pandemic causes not to have hope and want people to give up and tuck tail, just, well, might as well just get in where you fit in and live any kind of way. But no, it ain't time to live any kind of way. It's time for you to acknowledge God and get into the light, boy, and let God show you to do the things that He has done. God didn't make us for nothing. He didn't make a whatchamacallit or a thingamajig. He made us with a purpose in mind. He didn't leave us alone. You know what I mean? It's just that we've been looking in all the wrong places. We've been looking in the darkness, but we got to come to the light. Get in the light that God has put inside of us.
Absolutely. And what I always say to people is this.
So, hold up. I don't want to do my thing. I want to hear from you.
Absolutely. God put us all here for a reason. What I tell people all the time is this. Everybody has a purpose on earth. Even if you don't know your purpose right now, you have a purpose. If you're still alive, you got air in your lungs, you have breath inside you, you have a purpose in your life. Despite your mistakes and your past mistakes of yesterday, if you woke up today, if you woke up and you can see the sunshine when you wake up in the morning, then that's an opportunity to change your mistakes from yesterday. Whatever your mistakes was, you have been given another opportunity. You have been resurrected with given the chance to change your previous behavior and become the person that God has for you to be. So what I'm saying to you, and the reason why I want to do this episode to say this, that despite anybody's mistakes, whether it's yours, Pop, or anybody else's, when you woke up in the morning and the sun shined on you, and God put that air in your breath, in your body, He spoke to every one of us to say, whatever mistake you made, no matter how big, how small it is, you can be reborn from it. You can be forgiven for it. You can forgive yourself for it. You can be forgiven by others for it. And you can continue to work towards His purpose that He has in your life. Whatever the purpose is, whether it's opening your own church, opening your own network, opening your own store, opening your own business. If it's selling words on the side of the road and that's the purpose He has for you, you can walk in your purpose. You can achieve your purpose. Do not allow anyone to speak negativity into your life or affect your life. Do not allow old wounds to suffer and continue to fester inside your body, causing an infection that not only destroys you, but destroys future generations. It's time to put an end to that. This pandemic
amen.
But beyond this pandemic that's going on, there's a deeper sickness that lives inside of us that we keep passing down to our children, to our partners, to our family members, and we need to put it in. that pandemic. It's called family curse. It's called family trauma. We need to put an end to it today. Put an end to
Yes.
domestic violence.
Get
And
be
put an end to
delivered.
the hatred we have for each other, and understand the purpose and the work that God has for us. Deliver ourselves. Deliver ourselves and get closer to Him. Even if you don't believe in God, He believes in you. Think about it, people. So
Yeah.
when you look
Come
at this
on.
sun
Come on
tomorrow
now.
morning, when you wake up tomorrow, you see that sun.
Woo.
Just remember, resurrection
Yeah.
happens every single day, and today is an opportunity, a new day to make new changes, to forgive yourself, to forgive someone else, and to walk in the purpose that was meant for you. Now, as I said
Yeah.
that, I have two more questions for you before I let you go. One question is this: have you ever asked for forgiveness from the people that you hurt?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. People
Yeah.
that I hurt. Yeah. And you know the crazy thing about it, out of all the bad that I have done in my life, I had no enemies. I
Mm.
had no enemies other than the Satan himself. But I had nobody that hates me or is against me, that disliked me or none of that. I had no enemies. Ain't that a blessing? That's nobody
Amen.
but God. You know what I mean? I couldn't have did it. That's nobody but God. And,
Yes, it
and,
is.
and it's something that you said about forgiving yourself. Even if you don't forgive yourself, God forgives you. And that's where it begins. If he forgives you, that gives you hope. That lets you know
Absolutely.
that there's a chance. And from that, if he
Absolutely.
forgive you, and who else? If nobody else forgive you, they don't have a heaven or hell to put you in, because
No, they
he's the
don't.
one
No,
that you
they
got to
don't.
answer to when it's all said and done in this here earth too. When it's time to leave up out of this earth seat, we got to come before him. And if he's the one forgive you, then you all is well. Come on in, my great son. Come on in, my daughter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well
Absolutely.
done. So, and that's where it
Absolutely.
begins at. Yeah.
Now,
So,
okay, I got to ask you this question: have you forgiven yourself for your past mistakes and all the hurt that you caused in other people's lives? Have you forgiven yourself?
oh man, I had to. I couldn't even wake up in God. I couldn't do the thing, allow God to work in me if I don't forgive myself. I have to forgive myself and accept his love. And that way I can show his love. That's the purpose for all of us, that I believe our purpose is to be a witness of God's love, to show that God loves. You know what I mean? So that's why I got to start with God. If God forgives you, then you can say, guess what? No matter what I did, God forgave me. And even though I don't deserve it, but God forgave me. And if he forgive, I forgive. You know what I mean? It's got to start, because you reap what you sow. If you don't forgive, then you can't be forgiven.
Absolutely.
You show no mercy, you get no mercy. All right,
Absolutely.
I don't want to go all the way there.
It's all good. It's all good. So, okay, before we end this, I have to ask you this. I know I said one more question. This is one word. It's the last one, I promise. All right, so right now, someone's listening to the show right now. They're in an abusive relationship. They have experienced a lot of things that you experienced throughout your life where someone was beating them down, causing trauma in their life. They don't know how to heal. What advice would you give to a person right now who is in an abusive relationship? They're the abuser and they want to get themselves out. They want to turn their life around. What advice would you give to that person?
uh, well, you already know, me being a pastor and a minister, you know what I mean? I'm going to tell you to turn to him. Even as I just got through saying, because when you're being abused and you loving the person that you abused, that's abusing you, you know what I mean? And you're not receiving the love that you want back from them, right? So then I say, go to the one that does love you. And we know God loves all of us, and he forgive us all. So if you start acknowledging him, he said, then I will start directing your path. I'll be able to instruct you in which way you should go and how to handle something. So we got to turn to him. Don't turn to nobody else. Nobody else don't really know the answer because they trying to figure it out themselves. But if when you turn to God and cry out unto God, say, God, I need your help, how to handle this, what to do. And watch this. God said, I put it inside you. You already know that you ain't supposed to stay there. You already know that you ain't supposed to stay there and let somebody keep beating you. So he said, I put it in you right from wrong. You know what I mean? I put that in you if you never heard about Jesus. He said, but you do know right from wrong because I put that inside you to know that, to know those things there. So if you just know, you know what's right, you know that's not right to sit there and allow someone to do this there, even though it hurts you, to walk away because you love them. So that's why you call to God, and it's God to give you the strength to walk away from this abusive relationship and to heal it and pray for the person. Pray for the person that's doing the abusing. That way, don't hold no animosity, don't hurt no grudge, hold nothing, because that means you ain't forgiven, then you can't be forgiven. So you
Right.
gotta forgive them so you can be forgiven, be free. Once you get free, then you can be able to receive the love that God has for you, and so forth and so on. So I would say I was so seeking God's help and call out to him. You already know you got to get out of that kind of relationship.
Absolutely. The best thing you can do in a situation where you feel you're in a toxic situation, abusive relationship, is to walk away. Understand, people, it's not okay to hit anyone. It's not okay to allow anyone to hit or mistreat you. It's important now that we put an end to domestic violence and all the issues
Yes.
in toxic relationships as far as family trauma, whether it's an issue with your parents, whether it's an issue with your partner, your grandparents, your father, your brothers and sisters. We have to put an end to destroy and destruction that we're doing to ourselves and the people we love. If you truly love someone, speak life into them, speak love into them, speak them up, and pick their pride
Come
up,
on.
even when they feel down and don't feel the love inside themselves. You have to see a light in them. Encourage them to be better forms of themselves. It's many different ways to discipline our children. It's many different ways to secure authority in our lives, and you don't have to have authority over someone else to have authority in your life. You have to learn
Yes,
to love
right.
yourself
That is so true.
in order for you
Yeah.
to actually love someone else. So it's important that we make the proper decisions. And I'll reiterate what I previously said, people. God gives you a chance every single day to be resurrected, not just on Easter, but every single day you're alive and you wake up, it's a different day for you to be resurrected, to improve, and to better your life. So take advantage of the opportunity that's been given to you. Take advantage of the opportunity, grow, learn to love yourself, learn to love others, appreciate yourself, and
Come
find
on now.
value in
Tell
yourself,
it.
not in someone else, but into yourself, into your relationship, so that that person you are in a relationship with or you choose to be in a relationship with, make sure they also understand your true value, your true identity, and what you deserve. I ask all people to take heed to what we talked about today. Take heed to my father-in-law,
Yes.
Pastor
Yes.
Colbert Robinson's story and what he told you, because his transparency is more about helping you heal and delivering you from the prison that you live in. Well, one last thing I have to say, y'all people, is this. You have my permission. You have Pastor Colbert Ross Robinson's permission. You have, more importantly, God's permission to finally to forgive yourself, forgive others, but more important than anything else, you have God's permission to finally allow yourself to heal. So allow those
Yes.
wounds to heal inside you, allow yourself to grow, allow yourself to continue to strive for better things. You have a purpose in your life, and even if you don't understand your purpose, if you listen closely, if you remove yourself from all the noise that's surrounding you, find a place of quietness. God will speak to you and tell you what your true purpose is and your true mission in life. I promise you, that light will show itself to you. God's words will show itself
Yes.
to you. But more importantly, the love you have for yourself will direct you to the person who loves, appreciates, and respects you. I hope that this show, this episode really touched someone. I hope it lifted up someone. I hope that someone walks away from this episode and feel and understand it's time to forgive yourself. It's time to end family trauma. It's time to end the trauma that we're feeding to our children and learn to feed them a very healthy dosage of love, compassion, uplifting, pride in
Yeah.
themselves and for who they are and what they're going to be. I'm Alan the Great, and I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of Past the Present Podcast. Pastor Colbert Robinson, do you have anything else to say before I let you go?
I'm gonna say that you said it all, brother. Love is the answer, and God is love. We got to do this again. So you let me know when we
When
got
you
to do this
ready,
again.
we're gonna do this again because we got a lot more to talk about, man. We got so much more to talk about. I gotta get you back. All right, you gotta come
All
back
right.
on. You wanna come back on?
Yes.
All right,
All right. I'm with you.
all right. I'm gonna hold you to that. This is Past Present Podcast. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with as many people as you can. Even if you feel like this video does not touch you, affect your life, trust me, someone in your life, someone you love can benefit from this video. Someone in your life can grow from this video. Find that self-healing in themselves, that self-love, that purpose in their life. So please share this video with as many people as you can. Remember again to like, subscribe. If you want to get in touch with me, hit me up. Facebook, Past Present, Instagram, Alan the Great. Hit me up. And until next time I see you people, I only got one thing left to say, y'all.
All right. All
Stay
right.
tuned. Peace.
God bless, brother.